Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have for you an Aromage Inmatos deck. Now this deck was originally made by my boy Fader. He used it against me and I thought it was really cool, so he shared the list with me, and it's pretty much what he was running. I changed a few things just to make it more consistent for my sake. Like he was only running 2 field spells. That wasn't enough for me, so I went full Aromage Garden, and I changed a little bit of the back row. But let's go over the deck first. We're still using Junk Synchron. However, we're not going to use what grows in the graveyard because that's already a proven skill. This time I wanted to try around level augmentation and see if how good it is compared to what grows in the graveyard. So we're only running the 2 Junk Synchron instead of 3. We have 3 Aromage Jasmine. You guys know what this card does: 1900 defense, 100 attack. If you gain life points, you get to draw a card. If your life points are higher than your opponent, you can have an extra normal summon for a plant monster. So really good card. We have 3 Aromage Rosemary. This is the main beater of our deck, as you can see. We don't really run any boss monsters. He was running Bergamot, but I took him out because I never really saw him when I needed it, and then when I did draw it, it was like too late. It would brick me, so I just took it out and added more back row instead. We have 2 Cherry Inmatos. This is one of the new cards from the box. It's a 2-star plant tuner. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon up to 2 Inmatos monsters from your deck. They cannot be used as synchro material monsters this turn. It can summon itself, which is really cool, but most of the time your target is going to be regular Inmatos, which is a 3-star plant. It says, when one other face-up plant-type monster is targeted by the effect of a spell or trap card your opponent controls, you can tribute this card to draw 2 cards. Very important to know is that you're not negating the effect, you're just tributing this to draw 2. So it's very situational. It did come up a couple times because cards like Canadian and Enemy Controller are really common. So they target, obviously. So I did get to use that effect a couple times, and it's pretty good, especially if your life points are really high, thanks to your to your Aromage Garden. You can afford to lose that monster and maybe take a hit. So it does work out. 3 Aromage Garden, as I mentioned, real good Aromage field spell. Kind of needed to get the engine going, and also to get your monsters to higher attack, because as I mentioned, our boss monster or main monster is just 1800 attack. We have the synchros, of course, but that's different. Drowning Mirror Force, double Canada. Fader was not running either of these cards. He was running Draining Shield, and Draining Shield works, but the thing that I found out as I was playing this deck is that even though Drain Shield works, by the time your opponent gets to the battle step, it's already too late. Like by that point their field is pretty much set, so negating an attack, it's only gonna delay the inevitable. You're gonna end up losing. So having cards like Canada, which can stop your opponents mid play, like if they're trying to synchro summon or anything like that, you can stop them right away before they even attack. It just seemed better. And then Drowning Mirror Force, it's kind of like a reset button. You clear the field if they attack into it. So it's a spicy one-of. I did keep 2 Dispel Absorbing Life. This card is really good. It can turn into a whole, a lot of different things depending on the situation. You can use it as an enemy controller during the battle phase if you have an Aromage Rosemary. You can use it to flip your opponent's monster and not have to worry about that being like a man-eater bug or having a flip effect. So Dispel Absorbing Life, really good. You can use it if your Aromage Jasmine is about to die and you want to get that draw before it goes to the graveyard. So I really like the Spell Absorbing Life. For the extra deck, we have 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 Junk Berserker, and then 2 Armades, Keeper of Boundaries. Junk Warrior doesn't really fit in the deck. Armades is just better. And you could fit a level 6 here if you wanted to, but I feel like double Armades is just too clutch. And I really like Junk Berserker, so I don't want to get rid of it. But that's going to be it for the deck list. Let's go ahead and show you some of this replays. This was my... Was it this one? Yeah, I think this was my very first duel with the deck. So right away, you know, it was really fun. We got a balance. And we have 2 spell absorbing life. So we're going to be able to draw off our Jasmine if we need to. We see the Cosmic Cyclone, so we'll just go ahead and flip that. Get our card. And then we're going to see Destiny Heroes. The really cool thing about this is that they have to force the mass change, you know, just to get over the Aromage Rosemary. He does pick up a second mass change, but he would need the third one already in hand. He doesn't have it, so I get to survive. The Decider is going to go back to his hand. And here I'm kind of in trouble. I can obviously go for Junk Synchro, get back my Aromage Jasmine, and go into my Armades, but that's not going to do anything for me. So if he attacks directly, he can't kill me because I'm still at 1600 attack. If he destroys this, I summon 2 other monsters, so I felt pretty safe even though he has a Decider in hand. So we're going to set the Chariot Inmatos. I didn't want to set the Spellbound Sword of Life, didn't want for it to get banished. He opts to attack directly and leaves 2 monsters on the field for me. So now I have my Spell Absorbing of Life and I have Aromage Rosemary, which, as I mentioned before, we're gonna kind of use as an enemy controller during the battle phase. It doesn't even matter that he's using Canadia on it because it's gonna be flipped face up by the Spell Absorbing Life. And because he's using the Canadia, I get to tribute my Inmatos and draw 2. So it's gonna attack with Destiny Hero Celestial. I'm gonna go ahead and flip right here so that I can gain all this life since there's 5 monsters on the field. If I wait until this guy gets destroyed, then I'm gonna gain less life points. Since you do gain 400 for each effect monster, so I gain a ton of life there. Rosemary is gonna flip that Anki, and then she's gonna die, but that's fine because now we have Aroma Garden. We're gonna go into Jasmine, and the cool thing about this field spell is that you get the boost even if the monster does not have to be on the field for you to get the boost, unlike something like Ultra Athlete Stadium. So I'm gonna activate the Aroma Garden because I have a Jasmine on the field. My Jasmine's effect is negated, so I don't get the draw, but I still get the attack boost. So I'm gonna do this twice. And the reason why I do it twice is so that my Armades can be over 2800 in case he top decks the the other mass change and tries to crash with it. So this way I'm protected for a full turn because the effect stays until your opponent's next end turn. So we're gonna destroy the Anki. We're not worried about the back row because we have Armades. He tries to attack into my Armades to destroy the field spell, but it doesn't work like that, Forehead. All you did was damage yourself. And now all I have to do is summon my my Rosemary, activate the field spell, and just in case one of those is mass change, I'm once again gonna get my Armades above 2800. But at this point there's nothing that the back row can stop, so I just attack the Decider that I put in attack mode and win the game, since he gave me a free 1700 damage when he decided to suicide with the Celestial. We got Bandit Keith next. Yeah, it's a pretty insane combat, getting down to 200 life points, and I think at the end I was back up to like 3000. It's really insane the amount of life you can get just from the field spell and the trap. You can also use Ancient Fairy to destroy your field spell and gain another 1000, but that didn't really come up as much. As you can see right here, I was still using the Bergamot. We're going up against not the best or not the most optimal vampire player. I didn't really understand why he went for this and didn't try to extend into a Grace and just try to OTK me. I mean, I don't know what his hand is, so maybe he couldn't do it. But this is going to put me in a really good position because I'm going to have 2 inmates on the field. He cannot crash with a Vampire Retainer. And then I pick up Aroma Garden. So we're going to switch the Samurai Skull into defense mode. Destroy the this guy. Destroy Retainer. And we put him at 500 life, which means he can no longer activate any vampire effects which is really good for us. So basically no special summons for him, unless you have Vampire Takeover. And this is fine because I mean, I figured he was gonna target my field spell, but if for some reason he targets my Rosemary, I can you know, banish one of my inmates or tribute one of my inmates and draw 2, which he does. He actually chooses to leave my field spell, so I'm gonna get to draw 2. You see the draining shield that, as I mentioned, ended up cutting at the end. Jasmine is going to give me that extra summon because my life is higher, so I'm gonna be able to gain all that life, switch the Samurai Skull into defense mode so that I can just kill it with Aromage Jasmine, and also take care of this Vampire Grace. We pick up another Rosemary, so you know, we're in such a good shape. I'm not worried about being OTK'd. I have 5,700 life points and 2 draining shields. He flips over a mirror wall, so he gets to survive. Uses Bandit, stealing my draining shield, which is Pepe hence. And he's also going to destroy my other back row, because you know, he's ready to go in. But he once again makes another mistake. He didn't want to give me the draw with Aromage Jasmine, so he's gonna destroy. Yeah, so if he destroys Rosemary first, I get a draw off of Aromage Jasmine. He didn't want to do that, but instead I get to protect my Rosemary by switching the Grace into defense mode. I pick up a Junk Synchro, which is kind of unfair for him. We're gonna activate the effect, and I'm not switching the Gazuki into defense mode because I know that he has a draining shield. He stole it for me, so I'm just trying to get my Armades big enough to attack the Gazuki and win the game, which is exactly what we do. 2800, good game. We got Kaiba next.
Duel.
We have a pretty good starting hand. There's a couple different things we can do. I could go for level augmentation into an Ancient Fairy, but just summoning my Inmato at 1900 to destroy this felt like it was a good enough play. I can also have this spell absorbing life for a follow-up to get an extra draw. And it's really important that, you know, I gain these life points, because there are decks like this one that I'm facing right here that can just OTK in an instant. So I know he's gonna go for the badge OTK, but I'm thinking if he has beatdown and he has a Divine Lance, the most he can get to is 5,600 attack, if my math is correct. So if he attacks into my Aromage, I'm gonna be able to survive after this spell absorbing light, because now I'm at 5,300. So I'm not worried about getting OTK'd. He's gonna go for his Synchro place. And I think he doesn't even have the Divine Lance, so I'm gonna be safe. He destroys my field spell, hits me for 3,800, and I still have 1,500 attack. I pick up a Junk Synchron, which I think I already had one in hand, so it wasn't gonna matter. I'm gonna summon the Jasmine, go for level augmentation, using Cherry Inmato on my Junk Synchron to make him a level 5. That way I can go into Junk Berserker, lower the attack of the badge, and just finish the game with Inmato. Pretty nice and easy there. All because I gained those, you know, those life points. Otherwise I would have been dead. We got Alexis, and then we got Ishizu. Going second. 25 card balance deck. We have an okay starting hand. I really want to see some Aromages, and I pick up a Jasmine, which is great. So he goes for the Jinso right away, and I was really salty because all I had to do was chain my spell absorbing life and I would have at least gotten my draw. Now I have 2 dead trap cards and another dead absorbing, spell absorbing of life. But I felt like, you know, he was kind of in the same boat. He can't activate his back row. It doesn't seem like he's gonna overextend. I don't know what his extra deck is. And once I see my Aromage Guardian, I'm like, okay, I'm 1 Rosemary away from turning this duel around. Heart of the cards. I pick up Rosemary. We're gonna activate Aromage Guardian, flip that Jinso into defense mode, and get him off the field. I'm sorry, my guy, but you cannot betray me like that. So he's gonna set a monster. I'm gonna pick up a junk Synchron, and we're just gonna go for the Aromage play. He's gonna Canadia right away, which is the correct play. But check out what I'm doing. I'm gonna activate the spell absorbing life. I actually did this incorrectly. I should have waited until he. I think that was a different duel then. Until the Canadia fully resolved. I did it that way so that he wouldn't get a Canadia back, but I would have been able to actually flip my Aromage, you know, back face up and then into attack mode. So kind of a misplay there. I thought I had gone for the 500 IQ plane, but it must have been a different duel. Oh, I know, I do it right here. He's gonna activate the Hate Rune, so I'm gonna chain my spell absorbing life. My Aromage is going to switch into face up defense position, and then my Rosemary is gonna trigger when we gain the life points, so we put him back in attack mode at 2800. And that ends up being super clutch because my opponent is gonna go into Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer, so he cannot destroy my Aromage. I get to keep him. And now I have 2 Canadia, so I don't have to worry about this Buster Blader. He doesn't attack. I pick up a Jasmine. Get the draw, get my Rosemary on the field, activate Canadia to put him in defense mode so we can kill him. Do quite a bit of damage, and then I think we get the scoop. Yep. Nice and swift scoop right there. And we're gonna end things off with Ishizu. Sorry that these videos have been kind of long as of late. It's just, you know, since we're using new cards, I wanna kind of be thorough with my explanations. I know some of you guys are liking that. I see some in the comments. For those of you that don't, watch it at 2x. I don't know. So we're gonna have spell absorbing life, and I'm gonna go ahead and activate it right here because I just set a second Jasmine. So we're gonna get that spicy 2 draw. And now we kind of know we're going up against Cypher Soldier, so there's no point in me even trying to attack right here. He's gonna attack and deal 400 damage. That's completely fine. I'm basically just stalling here until I can get my junk Synchron so that I can go into Aromage, because I'm not attacking into any of that back row until I have my Aromage on the field. Unfortunately, it takes quite a bit. I'm thinning my deck quite a lot, and that kind of gets a little bit dangerous, as you will see towards the end of this duel. But we're gonna summon Aromage. We're gonna see the Canadian. That's fine, because I'm gonna do the IQ play yet again. We're gonna summon Rosemary, activate a spell absorbing of life, flip over my Aromage, and then use the Rosemary to put him in attack mode. Second Canadia, which is fine. We forced him to use 2 Canadias in 1 turn, so we're 1 turn ahead. There's only 1 back row, so I decided to try and destroy the Amazon Swordswoman. If I hit into a wall disruption, I would have been fine because my Aromage is in defense mode, so I wasn't too worried about, you know, attacking into a wall of D right there. He goes full set, doesn't attack, and then we see the DNA surgery. But as you can see, Aromage does not care about Cypher Soldier's effect once he attacks, and that was proven. When I attacked this Cypher Soldier. The reason why I'm making an emphasis is because this forehead apparently didn't get it. He goes for Witch Raider. We're gonna use Canadia right here. And this is the kind of thing that I was talking about. Had this been the Draining Shield Steel, I would have lost right here because I have no answer to the Witch Raider. You know, my back row is gonna get destroyed. I can't wait until the battle phase. So I think Canadia just does better in the deck overall. It's a better trap overall. We just saw that this failed, and he decides to attack into my Aromage for whatever reason. There you go, 900 life points. 950 damage. And here I'm playing super passive. I don't want to attack into this back row even though it's only one of them. And check how many top decks, how many monster top decks he gets in a row. Because I'm down to 5 cards right here. We're gonna hit him for 23. I still decide not to attack because he's 1 hit away. Top deck's a monster. I'm not gonna activate my Aroma Garden obviously because I'm gonna end up decking myself out. So we're gonna destroy the Swordsman. Top deck's another monster. We're gonna destroy another Swordsman. Top deck's another monster. We're gonna destroy Amazoness Princess. And then he finally doesn't top deck a monster on the last possible turn I had to win the game. So with no cards left in my deck, I'm able to, you know, deal the finishing blow with Aromage. And that's pretty much gonna be it for this video. Once again, shout out to my boy Fader for sharing this deck with me. I think it's very spicy and it was really fun more than anything. I didn't use Aromages in a really long time, so it's nice to play around with their effects again. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description, along with my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. Really appreciate that. And until next time.